Commander Ji-Woo Park looked out the window of her spaceship, watching the stars. Her dog Daiho sat next to her, his tail wagging slowly. Daiho was special, smarter than normal dogs because of science that had made him understand human words. Better, he had been with Ji-Woo for 8 years, following her across the stars. Ready for another boring meeting, boy? Ji-Woo scratched behind Daiho's ears. The dog leaned into her touch, his brown eyes full of trust. Today they would meet the Astral Empire for the first time. Humans were new to space travel compared to other aliens. The Astral Empire controlled hundreds of planets and looked down. On Earth, people as backwards and simple. Ji-Woo checked her uniform one last time. As a commander in Earth's Space Force, she needed to look perfect. Daiho wore his own small blue vest, marking him as her official companion. "They might not understand why you're with me," she told Daiho. "Other species don't keep pets like we." So the spaceship docked at the meeting station. Ji-Woo felt nervous but tried not to show it. Daiho stayed close to her side as they walked through the metal hallways. Aliens of different shapes and colors moved around them, some with extra arms or strange skin. Many stared at Daiho with confusion. The meeting room was large with a round table. 5 Astral Empire leaders sat waiting. They had pale blue skin and 3 eyes each. Their fingers were long and thin. High Chancellor Vex stood up. He was taller than the others, with gold marks on his face showing his high rank. "Welcome, Earth representative," he said in a cold voice. His eyes moved to Daiho. "You brought an animal to official talks?" Ji-Woo nodded. "This is Daiho, my companion. On Earth we form close bonds with certain animals. He helps me work better." The aliens whispered to each other. Ji-Woo could tell they thought this was strange or stupid. "Sit," Chancellor Vex pointed, to an empty chair. "We have much to discuss about your planet joining our trade routes." The meeting went badly from the start. The Astral Empire wanted to take Earth's resources, but give little in return. They spoke to Ji-Woo like she was a child. Daiho sat quietly beside her chair, sometimes putting his head on her knee when she felt stressed. After 2 hours, they took a break. Servants brought drinks. Ji-Woo stood to stretch her legs, with Daiho following her to a window showing the stars outside. Chancellor Vex approached them, watching Daiho with his 3 eyes. "Curious that you need an animal with you," he said. "It shows how primitive humans still are, depending on lesser creatures for emotional support." Ji-Woo tried to stay calm. "Daiho is more than support, he's family. Humans and dogs have lived together for thousands of years." "Family?" Vex made a sound like laughter. "It cannot even speak. It has no technology. What value does it have?" "Not. All value comes from technology or speech," Ji-Woo said. "There are different kinds of intelligence and connection." Daiho looked up at the alien, his ears forward with curiosity. He had never shown fear of any species they had met. "Chancellor." Vex reached into his robe and pulled out a small silver rod. "Your attachment to this creature distracts from important matters." Ji-Woo felt worry grow in her stomach. "Please don't touch my dog. I simply wish to examine it," Vex said, moving closer. Before Ji-Woo could stop him, Vex touched the rod to Daiho's side. There was a small blue flash. Daiho made one small sound, then fell to the floor. "Daiho!" Ji-Woo dropped to her knees beside him. She touched his fur, felt for a heartbeat. There was nothing. His eyes were open but empty. "What did you do?" Ji-Woo's voice shook with horror and anger. Chancellor Vex put the rod away. "I removed a distraction. Now we can focus on real diplomatic work without your emotional attachment interfering." The other humans in the room rushed over. The ship's doctor checked Daiho and shook her head. "He's gone, Commander. I'm so sorry." Ji-Woo gathered Daiho's body in her arms, tears falling onto his fur. The room had gone silent. "You killed him," she whispered. "He did nothing wrong." "It was merely an animal," Chancellor Vex said. "We will provide you with another if it matters so much. Now shall we continue our meeting?" Ji-Woo stood slowly, still holding Daiho. "This meeting is over." News of what happened spread quickly across human space. Videos from the meeting room showed everything. On every Earth ship, colony and station, people watched in shock and growing anger. The Astral Empire sent a message. We are confused by the human reaction to the removal of a simple animal. This emotional response proves humans are not ready for full galactic participation. They did not understand what they had done. They did not understand humans at all, and soon they would learn just how dangerous that mistake was. Remember that if you need to cite sources in your response, you should wrap claims in tags, with the index attribute referencing the specific source and sentence that support the claim. Admiral Tae-young Kim walked through the silent halls of Earth's Space Command. People stepped aside as he passed, their faces hard with anger. 3 days had passed since Commander Ji-woo Park returned with Daeho's body. 3 days of growing rage across every human world and ship. In the main meeting room, the United Earth Council waited. 20 leaders from Earth and its colonies sat around a large table. Images of the killing played on screens around the room. The Bai Astral Empire still claims they did nothing wrong, said Council Leader Ha-un Lee. Her voice was calm, but her eyes were cold. They call us emotional primitives for caring about what they see as just an animal. Admiral Kim placed his hands on the table. They have rejected all calls to apologize. Their latest message suggests we should grow beyond our animal attachments if we want to join the galactic community. The room filled with angry voices. Some council members wanted immediate war. Others feared the Empire's power. We cannot attack them, said Trade Minister Dong Hyun. The Astral Empire has thousands of ships. They have weapons we cannot match. Admiral Kim pressed a button on the table. The room darkened and a new image appeared in the air above them. It showed a ship unlike any in Earth's known fleet. This is the Thunder-class destroyer, he said. Earth has 20 of them hidden in the Jupiter shipyards. No alien has ever seen them. Council members whispered in surprise. Most had not known about these ships. Project Thunderstorm has been our secret for 15 years, Admiral Kim continued. After our first contact with alien life, we began building weapons and ships that no one knows about. We have technology the Empire thinks is beyond us. Defense. Director Sun Hee-yoon stood up. The Empire believes they know everything about human capabilities because we have shown them only what we wanted them to see. They think our ships are slow. They think our weapons are weak. They are wrong. The Admiral showed more images, hidden bases on distant moons, weapons that could destroy entire fleets, ships faster than any the Empire had. Why keep these secret? Asked one council member. Because we learned early that the galaxy is not friendly, Admiral Kim answered. We smile and trade, but we prepare. The aliens think humans are simple and emotional. They don't realize those emotions include planning and patience. Commander Ji-woo Park entered the room. Her uniform was perfect, but her eyes were red from crying. She carried a small box containing Daeho's ashes. Commander Park, Council Leader Lee said gently, "We are sorry for your loss." Ji-woo placed the box on the table. Daeho was more than my pet. He saved my life twice during the Mars Rebellion. He could sense danger before our machines could. The Empire killed him like he was nothing, and now they mock our grief. She looked at each council member. They need to understand what it means to harm something humans love. The council talked for hours. Some still wanted peace, others wanted total war. In the end, they voted. "We will show the Astral Empire that humanity is not to be treated this way," announced Council Leader Lee. "Admiral Kim will lead our response." Admiral Kim stood tall as he accepted the command. "The Empire believes we are weak because we love our animal companions. They do not understand that humans would burn galaxies for those we love. So be it. Let them learn." The next day, Earth sent a message to the Astral Empire. It was simple. "You have made a terrible mistake. Make peace now or face the consequences." The Empire's reply came quickly. "Your threats are meaningless. Your primitive emotions make you foolish." Across the solar system, hidden doors opened in asteroids and moons. Ships that no alien had ever seen moved into space. Weapons were loaded. Soldiers said goodbye to their families and their pets. On the Admiral's command ship, Ji-woo Park took her place as second in command. She wore a new patch on her uniform, showing a dog silhouette against stars. "The fleet is ready, Admiral," she reported. "The Empire thinks we're throwing a tantrum," Admiral Kim said. "They expect us to send a few ships to be destroyed as a Lesson. They expect us to beg for forgiveness after they show their power. He looked at the star map showing the Empire's worlds. They expect the wrong things. The hidden fleet gathered at the edge of the solar system. 500 ships, with weapons the Empire didn't know existed. They prepared to jump to faster than light. Speed. The Empire's outer worlds were 3 days away. They had no idea what was coming. For Daiho, Jiwoo whispered as the stars blurred around them, and for every companion humanity has ever loved. The Astral Empire's outer world of Luminar shone blue-green in space. It was one of their newer colonies, with 3 million people and a small defense fleet. 12 Empire ships circled the planet. Their crews bored. Nothing ever happened this far from the Empire's center. Defense Captain Mox watched his scanner screens with little interest. His 3 eyes blinked slowly as he sipped a warm drink. "Captain," a young officer called. "Something strange on long-range scanners." Mox didn't hurry to look, probably just space rocks or a trading ship. "What is it?" "Many ships appearing from light jump. But that's impossible. There are hundreds." Now Mox moved quickly to the screen. What he saw made his blue skin turn pale. Space was filling with ships, human ships, more than he had ever seen together. "Impossible," he whispered. "Humans don't have this many warships." The communication screen lit up. A human face appeared. "Commander Minho Kang of Earth Fleet Alpha. Attention Astral Empire forces," the human said. "Your empire has committed an act of aggression against Earth by killing a companion animal during peace talks. You have refused to apologize or make amends. We are here for justice." Mox laughed, though he felt uneasy. "Justice? For an animal? Return to your world, humans. The Empire's smallest ship could destroy your entire fleet." Commander Kang's face showed no emotion. "Oh, you were warned." The screen went dark. Mox turned to his weapons officer. "Prepare to teach these emotional primitives a lesson." Before the officer could respond, the ship shook violently. Alarms screamed. "What was that?" Mox shouted. "Unknown." "Weapon hit," the officer yelled back. "Shields at 20%. 20% from one hit." Mox couldn't believe it. Empire shields were the strongest in the galaxy. Outside, the human ships moved in patterns Mox had never seen before. They didn't stay in straight lines like proper military vessels. They flowed like water, changing direction in ways that seemed impossible. "Fire all weapons," Mox ordered. Empire ships launched their famous death beams, weapons that could cut through a moon. But the human ships somehow slipped away before the beams hit. Not a single human ship was touched. The humans fired again. This time, 5 Empire ships exploded in bright flashes of light. Mox stared in horror. "What weapons are they using? How can they move like that?" His communication officer shouted. "Captain, colony defense base is destroyed. City shields are failing." Within 1 hour, all Empire ships around Luminar were destroyed or captured. The human fleet surrounded the planet completely. Commander Kang's face appeared on screens across the colony. "We have disabled your defenses," he said calmly. "We do not wish to harm civilians. Surrender your military base and we will spare your cities." The colony leader had no choice but to agree. As human troops landed and took control of the military base, news of Luminar's fall reached the Empire's capital. Emperor Thalos was eating dinner when a general rushed in. "Impossible news, Your Greatness," the general said, bowing low. "Luminar has fallen to humans." The Emperor dropped his fork. "Humans? How many ships did they bring?" "Over 500, Emperor, with technology we have never seen." 500? The Emperor stood up, knocking over his drink. "Humans don't have 500 ships!" "Their entire fleet is less than 100, and those are primitive vessels." But more reports came in. 3 more outer colonies had fallen. The human fleet was splitting into smaller groups, attacking multiple targets at once. They moved faster than Empire ships and had weapons that cut through the best Empire shields. Fleet Commander Minho Kang stood on the bridge of his ship, watching as another Empire base surrendered. His officers worked quietly around him, coordinating the complex attack pattern. "Sir," his second officer said, "we've captured an Empire command ship. High General Zolis was on board." Minho nodded. "Bring him to me." High General Zolis was one. of the Empire's most decorated military leaders. Now he stood before Minho in chains, his blue skin dusty from the battle. "How is this possible?" Zolis asked. "Humans are a young species. You shouldn't have this technology." Minho looked at the alien general. "We kept our true capabilities secret. We watched and learned while you thought us primitive. But why attack now? Why risk everything over a simple animal?" Minho took out a small screen and showed Zolis pictures from Earth. Children playing with dogs, elderly people with cat companions, blind people with guide dogs, soldiers with their loyal animals. "These creatures you call simple animals have been our companions for thousands of years," Minho explained. "They protect us, comfort us, work beside us, and love us without condition. They are part of our families." Zolis still looked confused. "But to start a war over one animal—" "Not just one animal," Minho corrected. "What your empire did showed complete disrespect for something humans hold sacred, our bond with companion species. You killed a being that was loved, then mocked our grief. Now you will understand that was your greatest mistake." As the human fleets pushed deeper into Empire space, the aliens began to realize they had severely misjudged humanity. What they had dismissed as emotional weakness was actually humanity's greatest strength, and they were only beginning to understand how costly their mistake would be. Emperor Thalos paced the golden floor of his throne room. The beautiful blue, crystal walls that usually calmed him now seemed cold and distant. For 2 weeks, reports of defeat had come from across his empire. 12 worlds had fallen to the humans. Half the Imperial fleet was destroyed or captured. "How is this happening?" he demanded. His advisors stood silent, afraid to speak. "These are humans, they were nothing. Weak creatures who waste emotions on animals." Science advisor Krell stepped forward, his hands shaking. "Great Emperor, we were wrong about the humans. They hid their true strength from us." A large screen on the wall showed the latest battle. Human ships moved in ways that seemed impossible, changing direction without slowing. Their weapons cut through Empire shields like they were made of paper. "Their technology cannot be this advanced," the Emperor insisted. "They must have gotten help from other species." "No, Emperor," said Military Commander Vost. "Our spies confirm they developed these weapons in secret. They have been preparing for years, while showing us only their oldest, weakest ships. The Emperor sat heavily on his throne. For the first time in his long life he felt fear, not just for himself but for the empire that had stood for 10,000 years. "What do they want?" he asked more quietly. Admiral Tae-Young Kim and Commander Ji-Woo Park stood on the bridge of the Earth flagship Revenge. Through the large window, they could see the Empire capital planet Astoria Prime. It was beautiful, with blue oceans and 3 moons. "They're sending another message," said the communication officer. The Emperor's face appeared on screen. He looked tired and less proud than before. "Human leaders," he said, "we wish to discuss peace. This war has gone too far over a small matter. We will give you many things to end this conflict." Admiral Kim looked at Ji-Woo. "What do you think, Commander?" Ji-Woo touched the small container holding Daiho's ashes that she kept in her pocket. "Let's hear what they offer," the Emperor continued. "We will give Earth 10 new planets. We will share some of our technology, and we will provide genetic material to create 1,000 new dogs, like the one that was lost." Ji-Woo's face hardened at these words. "They still don't understand. They think they can replace Daiho like he was a broken machine." Admiral Kim nodded. "Emperor Thalos," he replied, "your offer shows you still do not comprehend why we fight. Daiho was not replaceable. Our animal companions are not things to be counted and replaced. They are individuals we love." The Emperor's 3 eyes blinked in confusion. "But they are just animals, simple creatures with simple brains." "That is where you are wrong," Ji-Woo said, stepping forward. "The bond between humans and our companion animals is sacred to us. When you killed Daiho and then mocked our grief, you did not just kill an animal. You attacked something at the heart of human culture." The Emperor looked frustrated. "What will satisfy human justice? Do you want to destroy our entire civilization over one creature?" "No," Admiral Kim said. "We are not like you. We do not destroy what we do not understand." Science Director Junho Baek joined them on the bridge. He had been studying Empire culture during the war. "Admiral, I have important information," he said. The Empire species evolved differently from humans. They raised their young in group nurseries, not families. They never developed relationships with other species on their home world. The concept of loving an animal is completely foreign to them. Jiwoo considered this. Then we need to make them understand. She turned to the screen. Emperor Thalos, I will come to your palace with a small team. We will bring something that will help you understand what you have done. The Emperor looked suspicious. Is this a trick? Will you try to kill me? No, Jiwoo said. If we wanted you dead, your planet would already be destroyed. We want something more important than revenge. We want understanding. The Imperial Palace was the most beautiful building Jiwoo had ever seen. Crystal towers reached to the sky. Fountains with rainbow water played in courtyards, but the beauty could not hide the fear in the eyes of the Empire people they passed, in Tour. The throne room Emperor Thalos waited. He looked smaller in person than on screen. Guards stood nervously as Jiwoo approached with Admiral Kim and two scientists. What is this understanding you wish to give me? The Emperor asked. Jiwoo nodded to one of the scientists who opened a case. Inside was a small silver device. This is an empathy bridge, she explained. It is our most advanced technology. It will allow you to experience my memories and feelings of Daiho. The Emperor looked at the device with doubt. You expect me to connect my mind to a human machine? If you want this war to end, Admiral Kim said, you need to understand why it began. After long discussion with his advisors, the Emperor finally agreed. The scientists placed one part of the device on Jiwoo's head and another on the Emperor's. It will not harm you, Jiwoo promised. It will only show you the truth. The device activated with a soft hum. The Emperor's eyes widened. Then he made a sound no human had ever heard from an Empire person before. He screamed. Emperor Thalos fell to his knees, his three eyes wide with shock. The empathy bridge connected his mind directly to Jiwoo's memories. For the first time in his life, he felt what it was like to love something the way humans love their animal companions. He saw Daiho as a puppy, looking up at Jiwoo with trust and joy. He felt the warm feeling in Jiwoo's heart when Daiho slept, beside her bed. He experienced the proud moment when Daiho completed his space training. Then came memories of Daiho saving Jiwoo's life during a space station accident. The dog had pulled her from a fire and stayed by her side during recovery. The Emperor felt the deep bond that had grown between them over 8 years together. Finally, he relived the moment when Chancellor Vex killed Daiho. The pain hit Thalos like a physical blow. Grief crushed his chest. Loss burned through him. He had never felt anything like it. When the scientists removed the device, tears flowed from all three of the Emperor's eyes. His advisors looked shocked. In all of Empire history, no Emperor had ever cried in public. I did not know, Thalos whispered. We could not have known such feelings were possible. Jiwoo stood tall, though her own eyes were wet with tears. Now you understand why we came with fire and steel when words failed. The Emperor slowly stood up. His hands shook. The device, it showed me other things too. All humans feel this way about their animal companions. Admiral Kim nodded. Many do. These bonds are part of our history, our culture, our families. What your Chancellor did was like killing a family member and then laughing about it. The Emperor looked at his advisors, then back to the humans. I wish to speak with Earth's full council. We must end this conflict properly. 3 days later, the United Earth Council met with Emperor Thalos and his advisors on a neutral space station. The Emperor had insisted on bringing something unusual, animals from his home world that looked somewhat like cats with 6 legs. These are Razi, he explained. They live wild on our home planet. We never thought to make them companions. But after experiencing Commander Park's memories, some of my people have begun to bond with them. Council leader Hyun Lee looked surprised. Your people are trying to have pets? Yes, said the Emperor. It is difficult for us. We do not naturally form such attachments, but we are learning. The peace treaty took hours to complete. The Empire would pay for damage done during the war. They would respect Earth's technology and power. Most importantly, they would create cultural exchange programs to better understand humans. There is one more thing, Emperor Thalos said when the treaty was signed. A personal matter. He turned to Jiwoo and bowed low. Something an emperor had never done to anyone before. "Commander Park, no words can undo what was done to your companion Diho, but I wish to offer something," he signaled, and an attendant brought forward a beautiful crystal box. Inside was the silver rod that Chancellor Vex had used to kill Diho. "This weapon has been destroyed," the Emperor said. "Chancellor Vex has been removed from his position and will spend his life learning about the animals of Earth. And this crystal box is for Diho's ashes, made from the rarest materials in our empire." Jiwoo accepted the box silently. She carefully transferred Diho's ashes into it. The crystal seemed to glow with inner light when she did. "Thank you," she said simply. 6 months later, Admiral Kim and Jiwoo stood on a viewing platform of Earth's main space station. Below them, ships from Earth and the Empire moved peacefully together. On the station itself, Empire visitors walked with curious expressions, many stopping to pet the dogs and cats that lived there with their human companions. "The galaxy has changed," Admiral Kim said. "No one looks at humans the same way anymore." Jiwoo nodded. "They thought our emotions made us weak. Now they understand our emotions make us strong." A young girl walked by with her puppy, an Empire visitor watching with amazement as the child laughed when the puppy licked her face. "Some of them are trying to understand the bond," Jiwoo observed. "It will not be easy for them." "No," the Admiral agreed. "But they are learning that connection matters. That love, even for what they once saw as lesser beings, has value." Jiwoo touched the crystal box that now hung from a chain around her neck. Inside, Diho's ashes seemed to shine like stars. That evening, Jiwoo took a small shuttle to the edge of Earth's solar system. She opened the shuttle's window, something only possible with the newest shields, and opened the crystal box. "You changed the galaxy, boy," she whispered as she released a small portion of the ashes into space. They sparkled like tiny stars as they floated away. "Because of you, they understand us now. Because of you, they learned what happens when someone harms those humans love." The ashes drifted into the darkness, becoming one with the stars. Somewhere in the distance, an Empire ship noticed the small shuttle and changed course to give it space, a sign of respect they would never have shown before. Jiwoo closed the window and set course for home. The war was over. Understanding had begun. And across the galaxy, species that had once looked down on humanity's emotional bonds with animals were beginning to wonder what else they had failed to understand about these complicated, passionate beings who would burn worlds for those they loved.